menggerakkan anak-anak dan juga pemuda-pemuda untuk bergerak atau untuk tetap mempunyai skill tentang literasi fisik. Michelle Hitler also give her audiences a transformative, also unforgettable knowledge as well as experiences, whether it be her vibrant, large, and crowd activities, group workshop and classes, or her inspiring keynote address. Also, dia juga salah satu dari speaker TED Talk, TED Talk. Mungkin for you guys ada yang tahu tentang TED Talk yang sudah di share screen tadi. Beliau adalah pernah menjadi salah satu speaker TED Talk. Okay, and the important things is that dia juga graduated from BA or BEd, Bachelor of Education or Bachelor of Art. And currently, she is a teacher in one of education programs in Tech University University in Canada. That's all for the CV, and I'm so delighted and more engaging in this session actually. And the speaker will present with English. So if you do not understand more, please ask question in the chat. Feel free for you guys. Jadi jangan sungkan untuk bertanya. You can directly typing the question that you do not understand at all. I will convey also just overall the materials or the lesson that Michelle Hitler deliver for you guys. Jadi kalau misalkan perhaps entar ada beberapa menit akan Vivin jelasin overall the lesson or materi yang dijelaskan oleh beliau, pemateri kita. Moreover, guys, you can ask question in the chat room as well. I remind you again, in the last session, we're gonna fill in the presency. So, I hope you do not left the meetings because ada presensi di akhir acara. Eventually, let our speaker deliver the topic about physical literacy. Give applause all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good morning. Good evening. Good evening for me. It's past my bedtime. No, I'm just kidding. I am happy to be here, and I am very excited to share my experience with you on physical literacy, tell you more about physical literacy and how it connects to movement, and in my experience, how it connects to something called groove. And you may not have heard that word before. You maybe have heard that word before, but it's a very common word in English and in Canada. And 1 second, okay? 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, it is a very common word in my vocabulary because it means to move our body to music. So it means almost like an idea of dancing. So dancing is a big part of physical literacy. It is a way to get people moving their body in a confident and competent way, which is what the definition of physical literacy is. And I want to share tonight with you, this morning with you, my experience with doing this with children as young as 3 years old, all the way up to seniors as old as 90 years old. I've done this. So I'm happy to be here today. And should we get started?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Great. Can you share can I see the presentation?
Okay, just waiting for.
Yeah.
Kak Rizka, can you bisa tolong share screen?
Okay, so I entitled the presentation today, "You Can't Get It Wrong," which is the way I teach, the way I live, the way I put all my work into practice and share with people is that you cannot get anything wrong. And I'm not sure if that makes sense in the way you're understanding that, but it really means that the way you move your body there's no right way or no wrong way to do that. So it's making dance and movement accessible for all. So it's really about that accessibility piece, that equity piece, where we are allowing people to have a good experience and have them feel good while doing so. Next slide.
Kak Rizka, bisa next slide?
Okay, so just a little bit of background, tell you a little bit about me. I've been in dancing and moving since I was a little girl. I teach at 2 universities in Ontario in Canada. So I teach in the Faculty of Education at one, and I teach teachers in another one how to make movement and dance happen in their classrooms and inspire them how to create their own personal philosophy of dance and movement. I'm also an author for a textbook that is actually right here. So it's called Physical and Health Education in Canada.
Wow.
And there's a chapter in this textbook on dance and movement, and I authored that chapter. So they asked me to write that chapter. It's very exciting. And it was published by Human Kinetics, which is a huge publisher here in North America. You might, as you're watching the TEDx presentation I did, you might also be curious why I had a cane in my hand. And I actually, there's a picture there, X-ray. I have 2 titanium hips. I had both of my hips replaced 3 years ago. So I've had quite a physical literacy journey of my own, being very active for my entire life, and then had sort of an injury happen with my hips, and it led to me having them both replaced. So I feel like I've had to relearn in the last 2 years how to walk again, how to move again, how to groove again, and it's a big, big part of my story. So that's why I did that TEDx presentation right after my second surgery. So I had a cane on stage with me, so that's why I had that. But it's made me very appreciative of my movement, and it makes me understand others that have physical limitations. It's really important to me. I went to the University of Toronto for my Bachelor of Education degree. I love yoga. I love movement and music. I love singing. And I have a husband, and my son is in my picture there. His name is James. He's just turned 9 this week. So that's a little bit about me and my personal and professional life. Next slide. Okay, we're actually not going to do this activity. So you go next slide. All right, so when we think of movement and dancing, we think, look at this little creature here, this little girl. When little kids hear music, they just move. There's no problem. I saw that with my own son when he was little. There's no issues at all. You put on music, or if a kid hears a beat of a drum or any sort of singing, they instantly want to start moving. And then we get a little bit afraid as we get older to move our bodies to music because we think we're going to get things wrong. Next slide. So I challenge us today to look at movement and physical literacy in a new way, and that new way is the word groove. So I know I can't see your screens, I can't see your pictures and your video, but if you can just say with me all together, let's say the word groove and see how that feels. You can say it just wherever you are at home. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Groove.
Groove.
Yes, excellent. Next slide. Okay, so yes, it does mean there is a dictionary definition in the Oxford Dictionary, one of the definitions of that word groove is to enjoy oneself. So that is a big part of physical literacy, is adding the fun, the motivation to move. So yes, to be confident, yes, to be competent in movement, but also to have enjoyment and motivation to move for life. That's what we want to really instill in our participants of all ages. So groove is definitely something that that really connects those competence and confidence pieces. Next slide. All right, we're going to do a little activity together. We are going to do one activity with our hands, a snapping activity, and then I'm going to ask everybody to actually get up, and we're going to do one song together so you can feel what it feels like to groove. So can I ask everybody just to connect together? Show me your hands, shake them out. And we're all gonna do a snap together, like this. Snap, snap, snap. That's it.
Snap, snap.
Now, that's it. Now, I want you to take your snap, and I want you to take it anywhere you want around your body. Snap, snap. I know it feels kind of silly. Snap, snap. Good. Now add some style. Start bouncing and moving and doing your own thing. Maybe a little smile on your face. Maybe come to the camera, pretend you're snapping with people that are on the call. That's it. Yes. All right, put your hands down. Next slide. So when you took that snap, we connected together on the snap, and then you took it in different places, and then you added some of your own personality, you can't get it wrong. So I share this with people of all ages and all abilities. When you groove, you can't get it wrong. So can you take one finger, do it for me, point to somebody in the camera that's out there in the call and say, you can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong.
You can't get it wrong.
Finger, point to somebody else on the call and say, you can't get it wrong.
You can't get it wrong.
You can't.
And then to yourself and say, I can't get it wrong.
I can get it wrong.
That's beautiful. Next slide, everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
I would like you to get up wherever you are, and all you need to do is be able to see me, and I'm going to lead you through a very simple movement with groove to build physical literacy, which is some music, okay? So the only two movements that are in this song are a stomp and a drum. Here we go. All right, you can hear the beat. Here it comes. Boom, boom, boom. Take your hands on a big drum, and I want you to pretend to hit it. Hit, hit, hit. Boom, boom, boom. It doesn't matter which arm you use. That's it. Shake your hands. Okay, watch the feet. They're going to go like this. Stomp, 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 stomp. That's it. Good. I'll come back up. Keep stomping. Stomp. Now start to swing your arms a little bit. That's it. Stomp. How about a little faster? Stomp, 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 stomp. And start to move around a little bit, around your space. That's it. Stomp, stomp. Good. Can't get it wrong. Hands on that drum. Let's go drum. All right, let's get creative now. Wherever those drums are, they're all around you. So start to play them all around. All around. Don't copy me. Do your own thing. Drum wherever you want. High, low, right, left, on your body, all over. We're going to add another movement. 6 stomps, 2 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, jump, jump. That's it. Jump, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, jump, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, jump, jump. Move around your room. Jump, jump. Jump, jump. Jump, jump. One more. And jump. Jump. I want you to try drumming somewhere on your body. I want you to try drumming with someone out there in cyberspace. Drum around. Now take one hand, hit the drum. Boom, that's it. Can you please type in the chat after doing that one song with me? one word that comes to mind after doing that one song with me. How does that song make you feel?
Oke, teman-teman bisa chat di room apa yang kalian rasakan setelah ada musik itu tadi. Kalian bergerak, kalian beraktivitas, atau bahasa Indonesia-nya yang kita kenal ada goyang bersama, atau bergerak.
Oh, good. Energetic, happy.
Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Excited, energetic. Good, 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 good. That's excellent. Great. Okay, can I see the presentation again? Oh, weird. Yes. Sweaty. Yeah, you can totally feel weird. That's good too. I like that word, weird. Weird. I always say this. I say weird. Weird equals awesome. Yes. Can I see the presentation again, Riska? The slide after you can't get it wrong? Hello? Oh, there we go. Okay, good. So yeah, we won't chat about this. I'll talk about this. So oftentimes when I do this with participants, I have them do a little reflection after. So you shared in the chat, you felt happy, excited, energetic, weird. And then oftentimes it surprises people how they felt silly at first, but then they actually felt like they could get into it and they really believed that they couldn't get it wrong. And what makes groove different from other modalities, that word modality being like traditional sport or fitness or aerobics or dancing, this is very different because it is very repetitive and simple, and there's not complicated rules or choreography or anything specific that you have to do. It's very free. However, it is different than what we call in Canada or North America, something called free dance, where you just put music on and let participants just freely do what they want. So the traditional would be when there's like steps to follow, like 1, 2, 3 of these, and then, you know, choreography that we have to memorize and get sort of stressed out about. That's traditional dance. Groove sort of falls in the middle. And then you have free dance, where it would be just put music on, let people do what they want. So I find groove to be in the kind of the sweet spot where we give participants the chance to be creative and be expressive, but there are still a couple rules to follow because the movements are still given to them. So for example, in that song, we did stomps, but it didn't matter which foot you were on. It didn't matter which direction you traveled in. You could go forward, sideways, backwards. It didn't matter kind of what you looked like. You could add your own arms and your own head. And then the second movement we did was the drums. And I just gave you the movement drums. You could drum to the right, to the left, high, low, on your body, with your friends, or on the people on the call, or on the furniture, anywhere. You can drum anywhere. So it's very about having everybody be creative. Next slide. Okay, so there's a couple, we're gonna string together a couple words to address how this works with physical literacy. So the first word in our bodies this way for physical literacy is a very innovative approach to dance and movement. No one else is really doing this, especially in North America, where we are a very unique group, myself and my team, where we are able to do this, and it's a very, very innovative way of looking at dance and movement. So next slide. So there's our first one, I for innovative. Next slide. So yes, it's a very neutral playing field. So everybody can feel successful. And I like to say the word everybody, every and then body in caps. So everybody can feel successful grooving and moving their body this way. And that's what we want to really promote for physical literacy. So it's a very neutral where everybody feels there's no, you can come into this experience with any background or any training or any sort of mentality or culture or demographic, socioeconomic. You can experience this and be successful and fit in. So it's a very neutral way to look at it. Next slide. So that's our N, neutral. So we have innovative and neutral. Next slide. It's very safe. So we want to create a safe space for our participants to move. We want to create a space that's inclusive, that allows people to express themselves, but feel like they can still fit in and feel that safety. So you're not centered out. There's no front or back or way to get things wrong. There's no right or wrong way, which gives people a really nice sense of safety and fitting in. Next slide. So safe. So we have innovative, neutral, and safe. Next slide. It's very playful. Physical literacy needs to be playful. So we want to be kind of embrace our childlike energy again and go back to how that little girl that was dancing in that first slide, how we want to embrace that feeling of like no one cares. We just want to move our body in a really fun and inclusive way. And that's really embracing our own physical literacy, is moving it as we did as when we were kids, because we often lose that as we get older. So we want to make sure it's very playful. Next slide. So we have I, innovative, N, neutral, S, safe, P, playful. Next slide. Next slide. Yes, we want to use our imagination. So I asked you to drum, but I mean, there's drum and stomp. There are songs that I do all the time with participants that have them use their imagination and be really creative. And again, going back to that childlike wonder where we get to really be, think outside the box and make decisions for our body to move in a physically literate way. So we have I, innovative, N, neutral, S, safe, P, playful, I, imaginative. Next one. Yeah, we want to be a little risky. There's nothing wrong with risky play and taking some risks, which causes our cognitive abilities to be challenged, right? So yes, we want to keep it safe, but we also want to kind of push and take a couple of risks as well, where you can still feel safe while doing so, but you know that you're kind of stepping out of your own comfort zone. So we want to encourage that in a really safe way for our participants to feel like they're taking some risks when it comes to like trying new things, or maybe looking a little weird or silly, or not feeling, comfortable at first. And then they go, oh yeah, this is easy, yeah, great. But there was that little moment where they took a risk. And then last one. Next slide. So risky. So we have innovative, neutral, safe, playful, imaginative, risky, and last one. Next one. Next slide. A word that was mentioned in the chat after we moved was energetic. So we want to increase energy, and whether that be energy out or energy in. So if you're doing something very high energy or like medium energy, or even like an internal energy where we practice some stillness or mindfulness, going inside. So we really want to engage our energy when we move in a physically literate way. Next slide. So there is our word. I'm not sure if anybody caught that word. Next slide. Oh, that's also some students in a gym practicing stillness as well. So we do that at the end of all of our groove experiences. Next slide. Oh. And if you want to just keep clicking, yeah. So here we go. Innovative, neutral, safe, playful, imaginative, risky, and energetic. So energizing, energetic, yeah. So the word is inspire. We want to inspire our participants to move in a physically literate way. Next slide. So that's what we want to do for all of our kids, or not even just kids, all of our participants. And we lead, we want to inspire. So we can keep in mind those 7 words, that they can always be at the, the motivating factor or the root of what we do when we create our programs. That's exactly what we will make a great physical literacy program, is something that inspires others by using those 7 words in your programming. Next slide. So the definition from Physical Health and Education Canada of physical literacy is the ability to move confidently and competently and with motivation. That's the piece. They have to want to do it. And with motivation in a variety of settings over a lifetime. So the settings can be on land, in water, in the air. So you can be in a swimming, flying, or like, jumping through the air, swinging through the air, or on land. And the really good piece is over a lifetime. And a physical literacy journey doesn't just go like this. There are lots of bumps in the roads. If you think about even my personal physical literacy journey, was quite on a big up climb from when I was a child, getting stronger, getting more competent, getting more confident. And then I started having hip pain in my, in my 30s. And that kind of happened after I had the birth of my son. And then I started having a bit of a decline. Then I need to have hip surgeries. So my physical literacy journey took a big dip due to injury. It can also, and then now it's on an up climb again. So and I've had a bit of a journey already. If you've experienced weight loss or weight gain, or anything that would impede your ability to move confidently or competently, it's going to affect your physical literacy journey. You can also have a surge. Like my mother is in her 80s. She's probably more active now and more physically literate now than she was in her 50s. When she was sedentary, smoking, lived in the suburbs in a house, and drove everywhere. Now she lives in the city, close to me, in the downtown Toronto, doesn't drive anymore, doesn't smoke anymore, takes the subway, takes the public transit everywhere, and walks everywhere. So she's 86 and she has a new physical literacy journey. She is now going up. It doesn't mean you decline when you get older. Your physical literacy journey never ends. It always is on a continuum. Next slide. So this is a quote from, and I want you to take down this man's name and look him up if you don't know him already. His name is Dean Creelers, and he is a well-known international speaker on physical literacy. And he has seen my work over the number of years. He's participated. I've done sessions on stages after he's spoken, and done a keynote address to, Shape America, which is the United States of America Health and Physical Education and Fitness and Recreation governing body. He spoke at their whole conference, thousands of people in the audience, and I got to get the crowd moving after he spoke about physical literacy, because he feels what I do is so a perfect example of physical literacy at its finest. So he gave me this quote based on the work that I do. The Groove addresses both body and mind for equipping children for their physical literacy journey. Groove has done it right by tackling not just movement form, but addressing a child's confidence and motivation to move. So we're not asking children to run laps and play games and sports with rules. We're asking them to move to music, and the motivation to do that, and the joy and the confidence they have when doing so. He has seen that as a really huge part of their experience. Next slide. And if we look at a quality, this is again from Dean, a quality physical literacy experience, any experience, not just Groove, you want to have repetition. So something that's done over and over and over again, so you can feel successful doing so. Symmetry and asymmetry, those 2 words are like things that are even on each side. So exploring movements that look like the same on one than the other, or asymmetry. So all that creative stuff where you're moving in different asymmetrical shapes. You want to see creativity, having the students or participants use their brains in a creative way and problem solve through space. Movement sequencing, so stringing things together. So as we did in that song, we did 6 stomps, 2 jumps, 6 stomps, 2 jumps, a whole bunch of times. That's movement sequencing. Confidence. You want to build their confidence while doing so. Social inclusion. It gets tricky over the tiles in our virtual world, but social, you want to, in person, we want to make sure that we feel that we fit in. When you fit in, you feel like you fit in, you feel like you want to belong, you feel like you do belong, you're more likely to participate to your fullest and really take the most out of that. No time or peer pressure. So there's that relaxed feeling of being able to do it in their own time, and there's not that idea of competitiveness with your peers or your friends. So it's everyone can feel successful. And lastly, it's fun. That's most important. Next slide. And I love this one. I want to show you as well. Again, this is from Dean about physical literacy. So if we look at things like literacy itself, learning our we can't make a sentence unless we know our ABCs. We can't make a sentence unless we know words. So ABCs lead to words, lead to sentences. In math, we need to know our 1, 2, 3s to learn our fractions, to learn our equations. In music, we need to learn our do, re, mi before we can do a scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, before we can sing a song. And physical literacy fits right in. If we don't have the movement vocabulary, like what our body can do, running, jumping, skipping, hopping, dodging, balancing, rolling, then we can start putting things together, movement sequencing, and then we can start doing more complex tasks to live in life. Even to like navigate if there's a slippery, like we have a lot of snow and ice in Canada. So someone that's physically literate will know how to work their body on that ice because they've had a chance to play with the idea of not having to fall, not be like falling on that ice. So they have a physically literate view on how to use their body. And I think that's the last slide. Next slide. Yeah, so that's it for me. I hope that I gave you some new information that was helpful in your physical literacy journey as you learn. I hope you had fun experiencing that. And I will open it up for any questions that you might have. If you want to ask in the chat, or unmute yourself and ask. I've got to sign off in about 5 minutes. So we have about 5 minutes for questions.
Okay, thank you very much for Michelle Hitler for your presentations. It is awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, for you guys, jika ingin bertanya bisa langsung di chat. Tentang physical literacy, khususnya literasi fisik yang ada di Kanada. Before that, let me explain just a little bit. Jadi, tadi Michelle Hitler talk about physical literacy atau literasi fisik yang berada di Kanada. Tentunya di Indonesia masih belum terlalu booming mengenai literasi fisik. Menurut Michelle Hitler, ada beberapa kategori yang termasuk adalah inspire. Michelle Hitler, let me explain first for participants in Indonesia. Okay, the next is that inspire. Inspire itu bagaimana anak-anak bisa berinovasi, bergerak aktif, dengan permainan tertentu, serta dia tidak peduli dengan resiko yang ada, beserta the way dia maintain atau memelihara cara dia berenergik, atau cara dia untuk bergerak, menggerakkan badannya. Tentunya dia bertujuan untuk kesenangan pada dirinya dan juga untuk kesehatan. Dan kadang anak-anak tidak peduli tentang kesehatan, tapi ya udah bermain. Cuma mentingkan untuk kebahagiaan mereka. Poin penting yang sudah disampaikan oleh Michelle Hitler adalah mengenai
I just got kicked off.
Ya.
I'm back.
Mengenai movement vocabulary, apa sih physical literacy yang ada di poin penting di Canada topics. Jadi program dari pemerintah Kanada adalah promote physical literacy atau literasi fisik yang mana jumping, running, swimming itu termasuk dalam artian physical literacy atau literasi fisik. Juga bagaimana dia untuk bergerak, movement, confidently, dan competently antar satu dengan yang lainnya. I think that's all. Ada yang ditanyakan bagi teman-teman? Bisa tanya.
Excuse me, may I ask a question?
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity.
For sure.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ifnan Rose, and I am amazed with Mrs. Heather's work and contribution. And here I want to ask a question regarding the presentation. My question is, how could we measure our physical literacy competence or our progress on a physical literacy journey? Thank you.
Oh, that's a great question. There actually are. We do this testing with our children here in Canada. We have. Do you want me to? Maybe I can dig some of that up. It's for all ages, but we start it with children. They actually do like a huge assessment when they're young, and then they track them over the years. But if I can get a hold of that assessment tool, would you like me to try to find that and send it to you? Because there are measurable competencies that you can look for, and it's in. Actually, it might even be a link. Maybe I can Vivian. Maybe I can share with you, and you can share with everybody.
Okay. It's okay.
Because there's a website that has. Let me look up 1 second.
Yeah.
Physical Literacy Canada. Yeah. Okay. So active for. I think it's called Active for Life. Or sport. Oh, physicalliteracy.ca, I believe, has it. Resources. Here, try this. I'm gonna open the chat.
Yeah.
That one. Try Sport for Life is another good one. These are two good websites that have lots of information. Okay. Okay, does that make sense?
Okay, thank you. How about Ms. 15? Get it?
Yes,
You
Miss.
want to ask question more? Yeah, thank you very much. The next guys, do you want to ask more? Ada yang perlu ditanyakan mungkin tentang physical literacy Indonesia? Karena kita kan taunya pendidikan jasmani di Indonesia, right?
I do have to get signed off. I do have to sign off, but maybe you can send me questions via email. Anybody can ask me anything they want via email.
Okay, no matter.
Okay?
Okay, just waiting for just a moment. And wait, Michelle, wait.
Yes.
Can you guys open your camera? We're gonna take a picture together before Michelle Herrera sign off in our meeting. Can you guys? Yeah, okay. You can ask by email or langsung directly japri saya atau teman-teman panitia. Later on, I'll ask directly in Indonesia Center by email. Okay, guys.
Ready?
Ya, Kak Rizka tolong bisa di share screen. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Kak Rizka tolong.
Iya Kak, sudah.
Ya.
Okay, hi, wave.
Hello, thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Email me any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ya. Teman-teman bisa langsung isi presensi yang sudah di-share dan disebar. Misal teman-teman masih kebingungan, bisa langsung tanya ke panitia, nanti akan kami sampaikan ke Michelle. Thank you very much, that's all for today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bisa langsung isi, Kak, link presensinya. Oh iya, Kak Yulia ya. Untuk paketnya nanti tergantung Kak Yulia bagaimana. Kak Yulia paket yang silver atau gold? Gitu, Kak. Oke. Saya ingatkan kembali, bisa langsung isi link presensi. Oke, Kakak sudah selesai. Semisal ingin meninggalkan meeting room, dipersilakan. Dan jangan lupa untuk mengisi presensi yang sudah tertera di chat room.